So it's been a mind-blowing week. It's been a week that really has changed my perceptions about singing and about my own voice and my journey for the last decade. During an afternoon a few days ago, well, it would have been about a week ago now, all of a sudden my arms and my underarms began to get very, very itchy. Like itchier than I've ever experienced before for no apparent reason. Over the next couple of hours, this itchiness spread down my sides, down my legs. I had this red rash that started to appear all over my body. And I started freaking out. I didn't know what the hell was going on. I spoke to my mum. She recommended I go to A&E because it seemed to be getting worse very quickly. So I drove to A&E and waited. They got me to see somebody and they said to me I was having an allergic reaction to something I'd eaten. I think the term is anaphylactic shock. They sat me down, gave me 2 injections, and over a period of about 2 or 3 hours, the itchiness and the swelling and everything gradually went down, and remarkably quickly, in fact. These injections took down all the inflammation in my body. So that happened. I didn't think that much of it other than, well, I haven't eaten anything different in the last day or two. I've been eating the same thing, for the last probably 3 months, really, mostly the same things. So I was a bit confused. Usually when something like that happens, they said to me that A, people have it from a young age, and B, they know what it is, i.e. they ate peanuts or they drank milk and they're allergic to milk. But it's usually from a young age that something like this happens. And I said, well, I haven't eaten anything different and I've never had a reaction like this. So they said to get an allergy test, which I'm in the process of doing at the moment. But anyway, suffice to say, unbelievable itching, red rash all over my skin, panic. It wasn't fun. I'll put some pictures up in the video now just to show you roughly, at least so you get an idea of what was happening. So I went home and I was quite relieved actually. They gave me some steroids and some antihistamines to take over the next few days, which I've finished now. And I was relatively relieved because I thought, well, I've heard about these types of reactions and these are the types of things where sometimes, people go home and eat a curry and then they don't wake up. They have a more severe anaphylactic reaction and they can die and things like this. So I thought, A, at least the reaction wasn't deadly, and B, I can find out what it is and I can be careful about what I'm eating. So this was all good. I sat down when I got home. It was quite late, at 10 o'clock. I'd had a little bit of a sing in the morning before this happened and my voice was, garbage. And in all honesty, my voice had been hard work for at least on and off for a while, I'd say. I'd had a couple of good days here and there, but it had been hard work from my perspective. Sat down, thought I'll have a quick sing before I go to bed, and all of a sudden my mind was just utterly blown. I felt like my voice was completely different to anything I'd experienced before. It felt thin. It felt so stretchy and pliable. It felt like deep in the recesses of my memory, I've had experiences like that here and there, but they would come for maybe a day or two every 3 months or every 6 months. It would be something that would come just out of the blue randomly and then it would just go again and I'd be back on this kind of rotation of like struggling and kind of on this seesaw of my voice being harder work and a little bit easier. And I was like, oh my God, what is going on? My voice has never felt this good and I've never had a shift in a day in one day like that. The only time I've had shifts like that with my voice has been when I've gone to bed and woken up and my voice has just been really good. But I've never had in a day my voice go from complete trash and super stiff to just mind-blowingly easy. And all of a sudden I realised this injection they'd given me had taken down all the inflammation in my body and my vocal cords must have been inflamed in some way. And that inflammation must have been chronic. So whatever I've been putting in my body, all the stuff I've been eating recently has been stuff I've eaten forever. Whatever it's been going in has been causing some type of inflammation in my body that has basically left my vocal cords chronically swollen, a little bit stiff. The best way I can explain it is, since that happened, the last 5 days have been exactly the same for my voice. Just complete madness. So flexible, so thin, so easy, to the point where I'm vocalizing up to high C and I'm just like, how can it be that easy? How can it be so easy when my whole life I've had to work for it? And I've realized that this is going to continue. I'm being very careful about what I eat. I'm only pretty much eating vegetables, fruit, and a little bit of fish. And that's it. No processed foods, no nothing. Literally just fish, vegetables, and fruit. That's it. No dairy, no cheese, no cereal, no nothing. No bread, yeah, nothing. But my voice is absolutely stable every day. It has this same pliability, this same sense of just mad freedom, especially when I lean in. As I lean into my mix, it feels so much more pliable, I can't even explain. And when I say pliable, I mean literally, my vocal cords are stretching and lengthening much more easily than they ever have before. And I've just got this headroom. Now I can sense that day to day, my voice is fluctuating a little bit, but the fluctuations are 0 to 3%. Like if 100% is perfect, I'm going from 95, 98, 97, 100% like this, just tiny little adjustments in terms of how my voice feels day to day. Before, relative to what I'm experiencing now, I was at 60%, 65%, 75%, 60%, 70, 80% maybe every couple of weeks, and thinking my voice is good today. That's been my world for the last decade. And I'm somebody who's strongly advocated for, it's not about diet, it's not about all these things, it's about how good is your technique. And really I'm making this video to say, I'm going to have to concede ground. There are reasons beyond technique that can inhibit or even destroy your ability to sing. And this is how it works. When your voice is inflamed or swollen in this way, it's stiff and it changes constantly. So one day it'll be a little bit thicker, the next day it'll be a little bit thinner. You'd never get a sense of solid ground. And because of that, you're constantly having to micromanage the muscle memory all the time. Now, when your voice is good, you have to do this a little smidge, but not to such a profound degree. And it's that adjustment in the muscle memory day to day that creates this uncertainty, because you're not sure how you hit it yesterday is going to be exactly the same today. It's going to be a little bit different. So you're having to day make these adjustments, and it never feels like you're on solid ground. Conversely, what I've been working on the last week has just felt like the same every day. The way I hit it yesterday is the way I hit it today. And so all of a sudden, you've got this solid foundation to build the coordinations on, or a lot more solid. Now, I'm sure if you get very sick, we have a couple of big drinking nights, this type of thing, you can go down that road of a few days of this type of stiffness and thickness in the folds. But that's more transient, and it's something that would just hit a momentary amount of time. But if you've got something like this chronic allergy where you're always moving around and you're never on a solid base, there's just nothing consistent to build on. So what I've learned is I've got by on my technique, because in a lot of ways my technique is very strong. I got by on a hobbled voice for many, many years without realizing. And I've thought about this recently. I've been watching some other singers who don't warm up, they don't work on their voice at all, very good singers. I'm thinking, man, it just seems a little bit easier for them. And I know it's not my technique, I know it's not my technique. I thought about this just about 3 weeks ago. I was thinking about it, watching some other singers. And now I know. Now I know why it is easier for them. Because they haven't got a chronic allergy that is constantly putting their folds in this state of stiffness and fatness. So there we are. I mean, that's the story, and I can't even begin to tell you how my practice has changed in the last week. My levels of confidence are so much higher in the last week. I feel like I'm just living in another reality. And I said to my mum, when this happened, I was thinking, what the hell is happening? Like, you know, why is this happening to me? And then just the last couple of days, I said, this is a blessing in disguise. This is like completely life-changing in a sense, in terms of my whole perspective on singing, my whole sense of where I can take my singing. It's this sense of, there's a way forward. Can be just like normal singers. I can be like normal people who don't have to, you know, constantly be thinking about their voice and how is my voice okay today and and all this stuff. I can just breathe out and let it go a lot more. And if I can stay on this diet and keep my folds normal, I can sing. Anyway, the reason I've moved over to this channel, the reason I've got my other channel now, is separate to this story, but I feel like it's a really good base to move forward into the 2020s. I've got a lot of plans, and I really want to just draw a line on that period of my life now. That period of my life, the old channel, learning this, really figuring out is done, and I am very, very ambitious and very eager to really solidify everything that I've been talking about and preaching really for the last decade, over the next decade. So, allergies can destroy your voice. The question is, are you going to figure out if you're one of those people or not? Because in all honesty, most people want to find reasons for their voice not being good, and the reasons they want to find are outside of their control. I've got allergies, I've got phlegm, I've got sickness. And I've always said, don't listen to people like that. It's all about your technique. Well, I'd say that's generally true, but what I've found, I've been dragged back to reality, and I found it's not always true. There are genuine health concerns and genuine things that can happen to people that can destroy their ability to sing and destroy their ability to have a chance to sing well. So that may be you. You may be another singer who is down in the doldrums and you don't really know why. I recommend you have a look at what you're eating and maybe cut out some things. My change in diet has been brutal because I thought, right, I'm just going to literally cut everything out other than things that I'm totally certain of. But if you want the best diet for singing, the best thing I can recommend now is vegetables, fruit, and a little bit of fish, maybe a bit of chicken once a week. Nothing else. Yeah? It's worked for me, and all I can say is welcome to the new world. Let me know your thoughts, guys, down in the comments. Give the video a thumbs up, and I'll catch you very soon. Take care. Bye-bye.